Wian,
How are you, John?
man, I am excited. Even though we have spoken many times, this is the first time we've ever actually spoken.
That's true, huh? We like basically know each other, but we've never met. But I blame COVID for that too.
So honored to have you on here. I mean, I want to just quickly, I want to tell you a few things about yourself that I'm sure you know that I was just looking at. Okay, so the number one TikToker in South Africa, you obviously know that. You got 12 million followers, you know that. But do you know that the second biggest TikToker is 4 million followers away from you and has done twice the amount of videos you've done to get less likes?
I didn't know that.
Okay, right. And there's more to this. I've got another one here. Okay, so I don't know if you know this. You're the 295th top TikToker in the world when it comes to followers. Do you know that?
I did know sort of about that, but I thought I'd fallen like so much. But that's good to know.
Okay, so check this out. In the last 30 days, you have had 500,000 new followers. And in the last 30 days, you've had 10.5 million likes on your TikTok channel.
Where do you get these?
There's this thing called Social Blade. It gives you all your analytics. I can sort of look at each post you've done and how well it's performed. I mean, dude, I watch you from a distance. I can't believe the shit you are doing. It's unbelievable. I don't know. You must be riding a wave of epic proportions.
No, well, thanks for having me, John. Yeah, well, I just honestly, I just post. Like, I do what I love doing. I'm glad to have been in magic for like a little while, and TikTok came just at the right place for me to have a place to actually do that.
I remember very clearly just when you were starting, you and we texted each other a lot. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You were trying to figure out what mic to use or how to do a camera thing. I think you were just brand spanking new, figuring out this TikTok. Actually, you were on Instagram, I think, at that time.
Well, now that you mention it, I think it was right after my first ever video. Like, I did a Facebook compilation video.
Right.
And I remember listening to the sound on the videos thinking, and then I remember you knowing so much about sound, as I can now clearly see around you. So yeah, that was literally like even before I would say I started, I mean, that was just after one Facebook video.
And at the time, I definitely recognized great talent, and I wanted to actually manage you. And now I really regret that I didn't make that offer early on. Tell me, Wian, you are so cool. Like the stuff you're doing. I know you dabbled in so many different sort of things around magic, but you really hit on this sort of like, sort of before you. And I guess I sort of know which feathers you're out of caps you're taking, but like exposing magic tricks was always a big no-no, but the way you do it's so cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen people always think there's like some kind of community that you have to follow, and of course, I mean, I've gotten hate from it and stuff, but
so you get some backlash from this?
Oh,
do you?
Absolutely. But I mean, when people look at magicians on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, I'm not even close to one of the first to do that. There are already like thousands doing it, and I always say to people, like, the real good tricks that we save when we actually do a trick for someone or on TV or something, the very I don't know how to say this, but like the good magicians, but I don't mean good as in skill, I mean good as in good people.
Yeah.
They'll keep those tricks for that, even though we know we could possibly get millions of views by exposing that. You don't want to give away someone's trick that they've worked their whole life to make. Simply the stuff.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, simply the stuff that I do in my videos is just stuff that's been all over, stuff that everybody as pretty much seen in a way, or it's a magic trick that no magician would really use, but it kind of gives someone insight on how magic works. Because I got a lot of people commenting that what I do is editing. And I actually know, like, in my opinion, you know, the best magician in the world, he actually stopped posting on Facebook for a long time just because people were saying all this stuff is edited. And I think this was a way of showing people, look, this is kind of what we do. And they're like, oh, okay, so, you know, he's got secret things or he's doing secret moves. And then when they see an actual trick, they know that what you're doing is the real deal.
I do remember as well, that's the next time we really touched base hard was when you were looking at getting into more of the video stuff. And yeah, I think you've taken such a cool direction. And the other thing, like, you know, the way you do it so good natured, like you remind me a little bit, you know, Penn and Teller do this cool thing where they show you, you know, a method of a trick and then they do it in a different way when they come back to the table, you know? And so the way you're doing it, I really, I mean, I think people, so what kind of, like, give me some examples of some of the hate mail you get and how do you deal with it?
Well, I mean, it's usually, you know, it's guys who I look up to.
Really? So you got idols sending you hate mail?
Yeah, I feel like Elon Musk with the whole Neil Armstrong thing, but no, no, I got you mentioned Penn and Teller. Now they didn't say anything, but I mean, there was actually a guy who hammered me on my first Facebook videos because he said that the stuff I was doing it's not magic, like, because magic you actually get taught to have like a presentation, you know, it's like a theater show thing, so you can't just say, hey, watch this Rubik's Cube, boom, it's solved. But the thing is, on Facebook, people were just scrolling all the time. So you had to get to the point very quickly because they have options to scroll and be entertained. And it's the same on TikTok, you know, and I think that's why so many really good magicians actually fail on TikTok, even though they're outstanding in person, because they want to add presentation to it, which I do, but not necessarily in a video. And the one guy, he actually, like, you know, he went off on me. He's like, you have no presentation. And I told him why I do it, as I said to you now. And he said, wow, he never thought of it that way. And I realized just by treating people kind, you know, some of them are actually nice people. They were taught to think a certain way. And he actually sent me a signed card of Penn and Teller because he has the biggest. Yeah, he has like the biggest card collection, I think, in the Southern Hemisphere of like pro magicians. And he only had like, I think, 3.
Dude, that's
which
a great
the
story.
other one he's already sent to another one, I believe. But yeah, the 2 guys that I talked about. So I don't know if you've seen Rick Lax, right? So he was, I think to this day, I think he's one of the most viewed people in Facebook history, right? If you look up like the most viewed pages on Facebook, I think every month he's like 6th or 7th. And he also did magic. And I remember messaging him because he used to help me promote my first videos and stuff, and he's in the US and all. And I was like, wow, this idol of mine. And then he one day when I asked him, like, listen, I met your friend Justin Plum, who's my favorite magician, and I forgot to ask him for a card. And I said, can you just ask him to sign a card? I eventually reached Justin. He said, fine. But Rick said to me, he's in a very uncomfortable position with me because he's getting a lot of hate from guys in Las Vegas because he's promoting guys like me. He said, we're giving away tricks. And he has since then, you know, he's just treated me like the nicest guy ever. He, you know, he pretty much stands up to this idea that magicians have. And also, I'm glad to see that what he and Justin are now doing is actually also giving away a ton of tricks on TikTok. And the other guys,
your idols are following you, bro. That is a crazy, crazy thing.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, it's proven to me to like just believe in what you're doing, and if you know what you're doing is right, you got to stick to it. It's this kind of stuff has taught me to like. I mean, there's another guy in South Africa. I think he's probably. I won't mention his name. I mean, he's a friend of mine, but I mean, I think he's probably the most successful magician, you know, career-wise. And he also sent me a WhatsApp, but in a very nice way, asking me, you know, I can't reveal tricks, I can't do this, I can't do that. And, you know, people didn't want to see magic on TikTok. And I mean, it was just a couple of months later when he and all the other magicians also joined TikTok because it was COVID, they couldn't perform. And I just thought, you know, had I listened to everybody, I would have failed horribly and I would have never had this. You know, I absolutely love having followers and inspiring people. And I try to spread kindness. I'm not the normal US type influencer who would like bully their friends to get views and teach kids bullying is fine. So I think what I'm doing, in my opinion, is a good thing. So yeah,
you're definitely bringing magic to a whole new audience, which is what innovators do, you know. I mean, that's really cool. Listen, I know you don't drink, but I have to. I drink whiskey during this show. It's part of the charm. So it's what makes me a terrible interviewer.
That's unique. That's something. That's something. Eh? Well, I know a couple of tricks with whiskey, so.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this, because I want to just go. I want to carry on. Where I want to get to is back to this point. Maybe I should just carry on. But I wanted to ask you, if you don't drink, what are your vices? What are your bad habits other than showing people behind the scenes on magic tricks? What are your bad habits that maybe people don't know about you that you can't resist?
Gee, let me think about that. Well, I guess that, you know, the boring answer is trying to get myself. Well, it's just one that comes to my head right now. But trying to get myself in the gym. It's really hard. And but I'd say, you know, I think the number one thing is just sometimes not doing as much as I know I should be doing. I'm not saying I should like overwork myself, but I mean, sometimes I see something that's working on TikTok and I'm like, wow, you know, this is gonna work. And then weeks go by and you haven't posted a video and you just get frustrated. And I you know, that's a very bad habit of mine. I would say. Probably.
But I mean, like something personal, like you only brush your teeth every 6 weeks, or you have to sneak flakies into your mouth when no one's looking 7 times a day. It doesn't have to.
Well, I'd say a recent one is so my mom used to brag about me as a kid, saying I'm a tidy kid. I would keep my room clean and stuff. That has changed horribly in the last 2 years because me and my brother have been traveling like a lot from the town I'm from to Joburg. And during the TV show, I would just throw my bags in my room and I would grab new tricks from my closet where they were sorted and I would throw them into the bag and we'll go and we'll film again. And I moved to Joburg in December and my room is already looking like that. And I don't mean like it's you know, a little untidy. It's like it would literally take a week for me just to make it look decent again. So I guess that's one.
Okay, I'll take it. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about where you just were was that feeling when, okay, so you must be in a different arena. I really got so many things I want to ask you. I don't even know where to start. My brain's like exploding. Where you are, which is like sort of, you know, you must be, and you've already mentioned a few things, being noticed globally from your idols, obviously positive and negative. Like, guys, tell me some of the experiences you've had with some of your magic idols that are good and bad.
So I always think that I was lucky to have been born in a town where nothing happened, because I studied everything basically on the computer, you know, like that's where I saw magicians and stuff. I met my first magician when I was already doing like my 10th page show. That was the first time I saw a real life magician. And I think it was a good thing, because the problem in magic is that 99% of people never really achieve super great success, even though they are extremely good, a lot better than I am. But because of the idea that, you know, the thing is, if I teach you a trick now, I show you how to take a coin and make it vanish, and you're like, wow, and I'm like, I just put it in my other hand. You're going to be like, wow, that's amazing. But then you start getting into magic and you see a gimmick that's like a rubber band that you know, with the switch of a button, like zip, 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 makes a coin go under your sleeve and come out the other sleeve, and you take the coin and you put it here and it goes and it's in this hand. To you, that would be cool, right? That's something that you would instead buy. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's the same trick.
Well, I just want to slow you down. For those who are watching this, I mean, I'm a little magic obsessed and always have been, but you might have blown a lot of people's minds right there, because I don't think a lot of people assume that gimmicks are used in magic. So Like the fact that a coin would go around your whole body to get there is the type of thing that a magician would design or buy or create.
And
so
yes, I get you. So yeah, basically we have like, for instance, you could have a Rubik's Cube and you could learn how to solve it with sleight of hand. And you can do that with any Rubik's Cube. And then someone would release a special Rubik's Cube that can solve itself. But at the end of the day, the trick looks the same. In fact, it's not better because now you have to have that special cube with you if you want to do that trick. But you get caught up in like the mechanics of magic. So every time you look at a method, right, you think that's a better trick, but it's not. You know, you have to pay attention to how a trick looks. Sometimes the simplest trick would amaze people the most. I did a trick with a pen where I distract them here with my hand and I put the pen behind my ear and I snap and I look behind my ear. And I thought, well, that's not a special pen or anything, because you get pens that are like magnetic, you get pens that can do crazy things. But people would always ask me, do that thing with the pen behind your ear. And that's when I noticed, like, you know what, maybe people don't know how the trick works. So they are not like magicians. They don't judge tricks based on how they work. They judge them based on what they see. And I honestly think that around 90% of magicians fail at that. I think they because it's human nature to want to learn, you know, something more difficult or use something cooler or different, but that's costing magic, you know. So, but yeah, the question why I'm saying this is that was the problem with like a lot of the magicians. Some of the experiences I've had, the guy that I've looked up to the most was a guy by the name of Justin Plum. Also like massive on Facebook right now. I always said he was the most underrated guy because people would win America's Got Talent. Two guys won America's Got Talent, Richard Jones and Shin Lim.
Shin Lim is unbelievable. Come on.
Unbelievable. But yeah, sorry, I meant Shin Lim and Matt Franco.
Right.
Richard Jones, I think, ended second in Britain's Got Talent. But yeah, all three of them used Justin Plum's trick. And it was incredible to meet him because, you know, I know that this guy is working like, you know, behind the scenes to make these incredible tricks that everyone else gets credit for, myself included.
Because there's two different magic industries. There's the performers, and then there's those good magicians who are actually good at creating the illusions. So they sort of end up more behind the scenes, and they don't get recognized as magicians until a Shin Lim does their trick.
Yes, but also like with Justin, he was good at both. So, because I think that it's sometimes a weakness of some of the like very skilled magicians to just sit with a camera filming a, you know, table and doing card tricks. I feel like, you know, go show it to someone, because people when they see a magic trick, they want to see someone else's reaction. They want to see, can it fool someone? They don't care if you're showing this to the camera. But Justin Plum was someone who really was able to make some of the best tricks I've ever seen and also have that performance. I mean, he is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. And I mean, when I heard he was coming to South Africa, I saw it on his story. I couldn't contact him. Like, his manager and everyone was like, oh, well, he's busy and this and that. But then I contacted Rick Lax because I know they're friends. And Rick said to him, listen, I know this guy in South Africa. He really wants to meet you. And I got to meet Justin Plum. I took a photo. I regret not asking for a card to sign or something. And I mean, I had like a 40-minute conversation with him. And I said to my brother, you know, like, wow, we met him. And he said, no, you didn't just meet him. That was like a, you know, so.
Were you already a star on TikTok yet? Or where were you in your career there?
I was, that was around after like my second and third Facebook videos, because I was getting most of my work and recognition from Facebook. I was probably just starting to post on TikTok.
I remember you had one video that just blew up. It was like a little montage of girls in bikinis looking at your chewing gum trick.
Yeah, that was the first Facebook video. So that was the one. Me and my brother got into a bus, went to Durban, decided, let me try this, spent all my last money on making a Facebook video, and it blew up. You know, I mean, I had 100 likes on my Facebook page. Who was going to watch the video? And for some reason, I think it got 15 million, and it changed my life. So.
Wow. Cool. So that was a good experience.
Yeah, well, I mean, from that, I started getting more like events. And there was a guy in Dubai who booked me to perform on an island. That was crazy because a little thing, this was totally just a coincidence. But that was the one place I wanted to see the most. There's so many countries that I still want to see, but that was the place I wanted to see the most. And it felt like, a prayer has been answered, because I make a video, it goes viral, and I actually get to go to Dubai because of it. I would have never thought when I was planning, what tricks to do in the video, that would happen. But yeah, it was a crazy time. And the Springboks then, a guy reached out and asked me to perform for them, for the SA Rugby ladies and stuff. And I thought, they said the Springboks are going to be there. I thought, well, I've been to some events, there's probably going to be like, 4 Springbok rugby players or something. And when I showed up in like a very small room, it was all of them, like from 1 to 30, even like the forward coaches, the backline coaches, Rasi was there, and I was just like blown away. And also I was super overdressed because I showed up in a suit, because I thought it was going to be like a gala dinner or something. It was literally like just in this small little room. Everyone was so casual. I'm standing there in my suit, but I guess it looked okay.
And then have you got any bad experiences with idols?
Gee, I don't know. Like, I guess what I said about the like more like on social media, but not necessarily in person. So yeah.
No, I just want to tell you, I've got the worst story ever about disappointing your idols, and I'll tell it to you quickly. It's something that still gives me pains. I was, for the longest time, obsessed with Kings of Leon, and they were I like, absolutely, my whole life revolved around them, and it became a joke amongst my peers and everything. And eventually, when they came to South Africa, the big concerts guys, they asked me to MC the concert. And I was like, and they all knew, like I had said, if Kings of Leon ever comes here, I'm the guy who's going to do it. And then they set up this amazing meet and greet for me, where after the concert, I was going to go to their private hotel and hang out with them for the evening, just me and Kings of Leon. It was like my dreams come true. Set it all up. And then on the day of the concert, I had this idea. And my idea was I was going to surprise Kings of Leon by teaching the stadium like a flash mob dance. And when they sing Sex on Fire, I'll get the whole stadium to do the dance. So there were like 2 or 3 support bands. So I kept coming out on the stadium. And by the time that Kings of Leon were about, I had the entire 30,000 people in the stadium rehearsing this dance. We're like, my sex is on fire, like doing a spin and holding their crotch. And I had the whole stadium doing it. They did it during Sex on Fire, the whole stadium. And I was so happy. And then I got a call at the end of the concert from the big concerts guys who put on the show. And they said, listen, Kings of Leon don't want to see you. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's such a big joke because everyone knows how much I love Kings of Leon. So they're pranking me. They were like, seriously, Caleb said if he comes here, he's going to punch you in the face. You actually ruined their entire gig. They're so upset with what you did. And I only realized in that moment they didn't have a sense of humor. But the crushing realization that the people I had most wanted to impress hated my guts was really hectic.
Yeah, and the whole intention behind it was impressing them. But also, I don't know, like, I guess for me, if something like that happened, I don't know, man. I guess it's just something in me. I don't know if I get it from my dad or something, but I instantly, because remember, right, I was a shy kid in school, like super shy, right? And I had to go on a beach and address, walk up to little, how can you say, like all these girls,
young
right?
hotties.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, and I mean, I learned that. I was like, you got to do it. You got to do it if you want those videos. You got to do it. And I always say, I guess, because the point I'm making with the whole thing that you had now too, is it's just like if someone does reject you and you weren't a jerk, I always see it as that's that person's problem, Like, I don't know. It's just like my thought. Like I'm pretty sure it doesn't bother you. You're more like, well, they didn't have a sense of humor.
No, it bothers me. It bothers me. I mean, if you can imagine that, I don't know who your idol is. Let's say Penn Jillette
Yeah, sure.
totally hates you. Totally
I get it.
despises you.
No, I get it.
And if he saw you, he'd want to punch you in the face, and that's where you're at.
Yeah, well, I guess like for me a big inspiration was Gary Vee. I don't know if you know him, Gary Vee.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so because you know I'm always thinking about magicians when someone asks like idols, but I guess Gary Vee has probably been the biggest one in my life, right? And I saw one day that he followed me back on TikTok.
Whoa, that's so cool.
That was like crazy, right? And he sent me a message on Instagram saying, "Hey Wian, thank you so much for the follow." And he said, "I really want to have you on a." He was doing a TikTok live, and he said he wants me on there because he's getting Charlie D'Amelio and a bunch of influencers. I'm like, what the heck's happening, right? And I'm sitting there waiting for my turn, and I can't join. And I messaged them. I sent them an email, and they said, yeah, they had problem with the international people who couldn't join. And I'm like, oh no. But luckily, like the night before, they were testing the live, and I went on, and everyone was sending him gifts. And I commented, I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, Wian Magic just joined. And he's like, Wian Magic is crushing it on TikTok. He's like 9 million followers. He's like, go follow the guy. And I'm like, what the heck? And I screen recorded that. And I sent them an email weeks after, because I uploaded that video to Facebook and Instagram, because I was like, Gary Vee noticed me. And I sent them an email saying I'd really love to just be on that tea with Gary Vee and stuff. And they said, yeah, sure. Never heard from them again, but I was like, you know what, I'm fine with this video. But that was something that I felt like, damn it, I had this opportunity. I could have actually spoken to him, but yeah, it is what it is.
How many followers does he have on TikTok?
I think he's got like 7 million.
Yeah, shame.
No. I wish.
Oh man! So tell me, okay, what is your magic philosophy? Like, what are you trying to achieve? You're always innovating. You're always trying new stuff. And what I really loved about from the first day that I inverted commas met you, because we never met you, even in those early days, and also when we were looking at doing some video stuff, you were always trying things, looking, had ideas, like checking out all the surroundings. You really were like, working super hard at what you were trying to create. I see you change lanes quite often, and you know, it's quite hard to define what you're doing in the magic world. You're just doing cool shit.
Yeah, I guess that's a really nice way to put it. Like, people ask me all the time, like, what's the direction I'm going? And I say, well, it changes, you know, it really does. I mean, I never planned when I started this whole thing to do TikTok. So I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do in 5 or 10 years is going to be something to even plan right now. I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago, what's your big plan? I would have said, oh, I want to be in Las Vegas doing a magic show. Now I would absolutely hate that. You know, I don't want to do the same 5 tricks every single night for the rest of my life, you know, when I can be making awesome videos and meeting cool people and getting, you know, followers that way, even though the Vegas show would probably pay a lot more. But and yeah, so I guess it's just I always say, like, it never felt like hard work, because I was really doing what I wanted to do. I really do. Yeah,
I mean, you work hard, but I can see you're having fun. That's that's why it works so nicely.
Yeah, I truly believe that. And also, like, I always say, if I win the lottery tonight, I would still be making TikTok videos, because I really do like doing it. I always say it's like my game. You know the game Clash of Clans?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people are always like, wow, I'm town hall 10, I'm town hall 11. For me, It's like my followers, you know, wow, 11 million, 12 million. I love it. It's like a game, and I really enjoy it. And when people notice you, it just makes it feel real, and you're like, wow, I'm doing something, you know? And so for me, I always see what's going on. I always try to see, okay, what direction is the best thing to take? I have a lot of ideas. I want to start like a magic course that we can actually sell on TikTok. I want to make more viral videos. The ideas are coming back to me now, because I haven't posted for a while. I'm starting to post now again. And yeah, I'm just trying everything. I want to seriously get into Facebook now, because there's guys who are just doing that. And then I want to get into YouTube, because I remember growing a lot on YouTube a while back. and I think I should get seriously into that again because I do believe I can grow there. So yeah, it's just trying everything and seeing what works, and whatever the next step is, I'll do that.
Tell me about how you got your TV show and what the concept was, and do you see yourself doing more? I mean, you said I kind of put TV shows maybe in the same vein as playing Vegas. You not see I know you're really into the TikTok sort of short and sharp thing, but now you're in long form, and Vegas is kind of a different animal. Do you not see those things in your future?
So, well, yeah, the TV show.
I mean, how old are you? Sorry, if I don't mind asking, because you're a baby.
I'm turning 26 this year.
Okay, not such a baby, but you were a baby when you started.
but yeah, so I thought we did the second Facebook video because that's all I was doing. I was filming a whole year on like compilations around the country, and then I put them all into one video, which now thinking about it is not the best idea, but I mean, I didn't know better. And basically the production company Box Brothers, they saw me and they said to me, let's pitch this idea to VR, which is channel 147, which was always Cake Media, now it's just VR. And they said, and yeah, we filmed, they pitched the show, nothing happened for like a year and a half, and then all of a sudden they say they think it's because of my TikTok. That they then reached out back to them and said, yo, we want that guy, we want the TV show. And honestly, even though I said I'm in, for like a split second, I was like, well, my life's changed. I don't really do magic anymore. I'm doing videos, right? I'm always thinking of a new video. And do I really want to, do the magic thing that seriously and stuff? And then I thought, it's always been a dream of mine to do a TV show. Even though it was an Afrikaans TV show, it still felt like a real TV show. And they also had the incredible idea of adding so much like comedy to it. So instead of, I always said, like, I honestly think I wouldn't have done the show. Not that I think I'm a big shot. I just, my TikTok was growing. I couldn't throw that whole opportunity away, which I had done for 3 months. My TikTok stood still. I didn't get any work from that because I was doing the TV show. So the TV show was basically do I want to have fun now for 3 months, or am I going to take my business further, right? And I was like, well, it's always been a dream. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to do tricks on the streets, I don't want to do it because I've done that a billion times, right?
Well, and everyone's kind of done that. You've got your own little weird thing. When I say weird, I mean, it's like, it's different. Yes. I said weird, but I meant unique.
Yeah. And I thought, and then they had the idea of adding like the comedy thing. So basically what they wanted to do was we would go to like professional wrestlers, right? And then I would go into the ring and show them a few tricks involving wrestling or something. And then we would have like a joke at the end where I would be like, okay, I think I'm ready now for a fight. And I would be dressed like a wrestler because I'm here, I want to become a wrestler. So there was this whole like Magic for Humans thing behind it. And like we would go
He's amazing, that guy, hey. That show is really special.
He actually, I was like screaming like a little girl, right? He was actually following me on TikTok as well.
Jeez.
So that was cool. But yeah, so yeah, we had all these ideas and it wasn't even mine. I get all the credit for it on the TV show, but there's a guy named George who's the director, right? And I mean, that guy is just a genius. When we're doing this stuff, he's like, okay, you know what? Here's a cool joke you can add. Or he's like, let's do this. Let's have the wrestlers do this. Or let's have I don't know. We just did so. There was one episode where I was a superhero, I'm trying to be my own superhero. I'm showing my superpowers. And it was just, I think it was funny. And I'm really glad we did it. And it was, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, in terms of, do I see myself in a Vegas show? Honestly, I always say, you never want to sound ungrateful. But I don't. I honestly, I just don't. I think I am someone who just cannot do the same thing every day because people would think, well, that's the biggest opportunity ever. I know that, and I mean, I would be super honored. I mean, I even doubt that I will ever get that offer because I don't think my show would be that. But I have had people reach out to me saying, let's get you to Vegas. Let's get you on this stage. And I thought, wow, this is a massive like honor. Nothing really ever came from those, but thinking it through, I'm not sure if I ever would have done that because I would not be able to do the same thing every day. I'm someone who would love to go see the whole world. and if I can. And yeah, it's not that I wouldn't necessarily do the Vegas thing. It's just not where I would see myself. I'd much rather go to the whole world.
I don't think you need to apologize for that. You know, it is, and I'll say you this: you're a very lovely person, but the thing you need to realize is that the great artists, the true artists, those guys whose careers, you know, the unicorns, as you say, those guys are on their own path. If it doesn't feel right, they don't do it. You know, it's those guys who go like, well, you can't, you know, who go wherever the wind blows because it's an opportunity they can't refuse, that doesn't fit into those are guys who like hit walls, get knocked under a bus, and got to find their way back on. But you are very clear about what you're doing. And maybe that's the, you know, one of the cool things about social media, and maybe that you are the new age of how content creators / musicians work, is that you actually get quite a lot of real-time feedback en masse about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And if you're going to listen to that and respond to that, then you know where you are and you know where you're going. So if you know, if the time isn't right and that's not where you're going, and you are big enough to say that's not for me, I applaud that. I don't think you need to say, you have to say like, I'm not grateful for the offer and all that stuff. It means you know who you are.
Yes, I mean, it's yeah, like I would never say like, I think I'm big enough, but I would always say I'd rather be, you know, somewhat achieved at something that I really, really love and push that further and further than do something I completely don't see myself doing because, you know, there's more money in it, or, you know, this is something that might last longer. I don't know. It's just not in me. I mean, that was the whole reason I started magic. You know, the obvious solution when you finish school would be to go study, you know? So I'm just someone who really enjoys doing what I did. I never planned to make money doing what I'm doing. I never planned to get millions of followers. I simply just kept doing magic tricks because I just loved it so much. And yeah, I guess it's the same with like America's Got Talent, you know? I remember there was a guy who reached out to me, even the Ellen show, you know, the Ellen DeGeneres, right? So I had producers, right? When they saw one of my videos, when the Facebook videos were really blowing up, and I actually like screen recorded the call, because I'm like, no one's ever going to believe this. If this doesn't happen, no one's ever going to believe it. And I mean, nothing came from it. They said they'll keep me, you know, in the whatever. But it was amazing to just get that opportunity. And I was thinking like with America's Got Talent, because my buddy, Brendan, right? So he's been on Britain's Got Talent. He's here in South Africa, and he's been on Britain's Got Talent. And I couldn't believe it when he told me. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, because we do get these emails of people saying you want to come on this show, and no one will ever believe it because they think it's like impossible for a South African to get on there. And, you know, I look at that and I always think like, I would do it. I would love to do it. I'm not going to say I don't want to be on America's Got Talent. You know, they can take the show. If they give me that opportunity, I'm going to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly do believe that winning that show, not that I think I would win it at all, but even the winners of that show, I mean, I always say to people, name them, you know, name 5 winners, and they struggle. And then I say, I don't believe in overnight success. I don't believe you can go on a talent show and just, well, they give you $1 million and a show in Vegas for a little while, which is incredible. But I don't think that I see winners of Matt Franco, who won. He was the first magician to win America's Got Talent. He also follows me on TikTok. And I mean,
well, that's what I'm going to say. You didn't go through you didn't need that show. You're bigger than that show. I mean,
no,
I don't mean that in a facetious way. I mean, your online presence is so big. I mean, it is crazy. That's why I started off like just looking at the stats around what you're doing. You've had 10 million likes on TikTok in the last 30 days. That's just TikTok. Forget about any other platforms, right? The guys who you idolize, the guys who are bigger than you, the guys who have more opportunities, they don't have 10 million people liking them in the last 30 days, you know? And I'm saying you're in such an amazing, it blows watching you has blown my mind. I mean, I can't imagine the roller coaster you're on. It's like a real incredible fairy tale, well deserved. Yeah. But I think you find yourself, I mean, you're very humble, but you find yourself in a very unique position. Like, I don't know what to do with you. Maybe you do need maybe you still do need a manager.
Well, I mean, yeah, I always say, you know, I do believe in that saying that they say, you work to be in positions to be lucky. But I always mention, I had to be lucky too. You can't get anywhere without luck as well. Because, I mean, if I was born 20 years ago, I wouldn't have had this. There was no TikTok. And yeah, everything, like even just, phones and videos on Facebook, that wasn't the thing until I think 2014. So I was here at the right time as well. So I was very lucky. And yeah, it was a combination of stuff. I mean, I always say, like, my parents as well, they weren't people to pressure me into doing, working in my, at home, like a lot, like having to clean the dishes and stuff. And in a way, that was a good thing for me. They always chose my older brothers to do that and stuff. Not the dishes, but like to help them, like fix something on the car or something, because I'm not very good at that.
Wian, make the dishes disappear.
So yeah, I think because I had that freedom, I could sit and just do what I want all day. I first wanted to be a WWE wrestler until I discovered I'm way too skinny.
Oh, that's cool. That's why you mentioned that was one of your sketches on your show. That was actually you realizing a couple of dreams in one go. Your TV show and being
that was a coincidence that they arranged them. I mean, I showed up there, I'm like, guys, because my favorite wrestler, I don't know if you've watched wrestling as a kid or something, but it was Jeff Hardy, right? And he did a move where he would jump off the top rope and he would like flip. And I always did that as a kid. Like, I think that's why I'm a back today. And we went to that ring and I'm like, guys, I have to try this. And I'm like, I don't care if it works. I'm like, I gotta do this. It's like my dream. I wanted my dad to build me a wrestling ring. We never did it. I'm like, I'm finally in one. And I did it. And, it's funny, like, how such a stupid little thing made me, that they didn't even put on the TV show, but I mean, made me feel like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Dude, have you got the behind the scenes of that particular shot of you doing that?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram under the highlights on the TV show. It's right there.
I'm going to cut it off and paste it on the back end of this video.
It was a little sloppy, but I think it looked okay.
I'm going to call it, this is Wian like making his dreams come true.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about where you grew up a little bit and your family, how they are reacting to what you're going through.
So I grew up in Frankfurt, which is a small town in the Free State. Some people know about it here in Joburg. Most people don't.
You only moved to Joburg very recently, didn't you?
Yeah, December. I moved here in December. And because we were traveling all the time. Sometimes we were staying here for like 2 weeks. Then we were in Cape Town for like a week. And I thought, let's just move. And I mean, well, in Frankfurt, there's not a lot to do, right? Like, the only like franchise, we just got a KFC like a year ago. And that's it. That's
your claim to fame.
Yeah, and I think it's because there wasn't all that stuff. Because sometimes you would think, because me and my brother, we walk here like in the malls and stuff, and we see all these teenagers like, they're temping bowling and stuff, and we're like, wow, we kind of missed out on a lot growing up in a small town, because these kids, they get to meet new people at the mall. They have so many more friends. We were limited to this small group and stuff. And then you realize, well, you can't really be ungrateful, because I had all that time. And because I was in a town where there wasn't much to do, I learned this. And where would I have been today if I had that life in the city as a kid, but,
Amazing.
Been at probably a very boring job right now. So I think everything has a meaning in a way, like, or I don't know to say if it has a meaning in every way, but I think you won't be where you are if it weren't for all those little things that you think you would have wanted to change. So I'm really grateful I grew up there. I mean, I know everybody there. That's the nice thing about Frankfurt. I believe that someone who lives in Frankfurt actually knows more people than, or people that stay around them than people in Joburg. Because when you're in Joburg, I still don't even know who's my neighbors, But there you have to know everyone, because you actually can know everyone. So when you see someone you don't know, you instantly go talk to them and you want to know who they are. And I've received a lot of support, like my mom, my dad, the teachers at the school. And every time I post something on Facebook, they would go crazy. But stuff that's like, meeting Justin Plum. would get like 4 likes because no one knows who he is there. But when I meet like Joe Black, it would go like, I get hundreds of likes and all my teachers call me and stuff, which is really cool.
And your parents, how are they with what you're going through?
Well, my dad is honestly like the most relaxed person in the whole world. He would not say something bad about anyone, or he wouldn't do anyone any harm. So he would just like sit back and let me live my life. And my mom would be a little more of an aggressive person, but again, she's always allowed me. I guess I always say this, and I'm really grateful for it, because a lot of people would because I'm saying now I grew up in a small town, it's this real like fairy tale story, but I can definitely say I didn't grow up hard, right? I mean, I had like incredible parents. They let me do whatever I want. They didn't ever let me do any like chores at home, which there's nothing wrong with, of course, but I mean, they were just like, my mom just, pretty much like would spoil us, not with money or anything, but just with like, she actually wanted us to be happy. So I guess she saw that the tricks and stuff is making me happy, and she'd be willing to have me like stay at home for an extra 2 years doing this. And I guess if it wasn't for that, if I had parents who were more pushy, I wouldn't have done what I've done today. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that too.
And sorry for asking this, how do you make your living? Is it from contributions on TikTok? Is it from gigs, or is it from the TV show? Like, what is your, if you don't mind answering that question?
Sure. No, sure. So originally it was obviously the events that I was getting through Facebook and agencies that I have worked with, and then eventually they kind of got my following as an advertisement tool to get more events for me. So I was doing a ton of events, and it took me like 2 years to figure out what some of those events would pay. So I kind of screwed myself in a little bit. But then luckily with TikTok, I was doing lives, right? I was going on TikTok lives where your fans can donate gifts to you, which you can then convert into money, because they have to buy a gift and then send it to you. And that was insane. Some of those people were sending like such enormous amounts of money. So then I did that for a little while. I just went live on TikTok every day because I was like, well, why not? But now it's promotions. That's pretty much what I do. So for instance, the other day we did a promotion for Stekinico where I did a video with their popcorn. We did one for Krispy Kreme where we did something with their donut. And yeah, I've got a guy now in the US because he helps a lot. He's like kind of a manager for me now. So he gets me like a lot of stuff in the US, which is great because they pay so much more than people here in South Africa. I mean, I do.
Is your audience mainly America, or is it South Africa?
They're mainly American.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's funny. But also what's interesting about that is almost all the TikTokers you see in South Africa, even the ones doing like local content, also have a majority US audience. So that's funny to me. But yeah, we have, I think 5% of my audience is South African. And when we worked it out the other day, there's these two guys.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's these two guys from India who worked it out. The one's an engineer, the one's an accountant. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but they're pretty smart guys. And they said to me, working that out, right? That means that at least 1 out of every 100 people in the country are following me on TikTok. And and what I then started doing was we were going to the malls and stuff, and I'm sitting at a restaurant and I'm telling my brother, there's 100 people here around us. I'm like, one of them follows me. And we're like, no, because kids, right? Yeah. I guess none of these people here know me. But if you go to a school where there's a bunch of 13-year-olds, they might all be following me. And I've noticed that to be true. Like, but I mean, I've got some recognition from the TV show as well. Guys walk up to me and they're like, hey, I've seen you. So you kind of notice it's true. But I mean, to me, that's crazy. To some people, it'll sound like, wow, 1 in 100. But I mean, to me, that's like, what? So I don't know. It's funny.
Would you relocate to the US? Do you think that's on the cards?
I always wanted to see the US. It's a big dream of mine, especially Los Angeles.
Have you never been yet?
I've never been there, no. And it's an incredible dream. I had events there, which I then never did, because that's another thing, right? Again, people would think it's ungrateful, but I was doing so many events here that for me to go to the US for a week, I would miss 2 other events. So I would make that money, but I would lose a ton of money here. So every time something would come up here, which would kind of cause me not to be able to go to the US. And also, if it was a place like New York or Los Angeles, I would have gone, right? Because I want to see it. But it was like, I think the one show was in Phoenix, which is amazing, but it's not one of the top spots I want to go see, right? And yeah, but I want to go to LA because there's some influencers in the US I would love to make some videos with if they'll, be keen to do that. And also, I just want to see it. It's amazing. But yeah, moving there, I don't know. I
suppose you got to see it before you can make that decision.
Yeah, I honestly think if I do see it and it meets like my expectations, and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing country and an amazing city, I think I might do it for like a couple of years. But I think I'll always want to come back because my oldest brother, he went to the US to go farm like 3 times. And he always said, like, because he loves it. To this day, he still listens like country music and stuff. And well, I mean, he went back 3 times, so he absolutely loves it. And he said to me, like, you always feel like an immigrant. You'll never feel like it's your home. And I guess in a way that's true. You'll always kind of miss home. And also, I don't really see, maybe in the future there will be a reason to go, but I don't really see a reason.
Yeah, you live on. It's currently you do live in America.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, I mean, I can make a video here. Literally the other day, this American guy, this manager guy, AB, he got me like a what do you call it? Like a jacket that I had to make a video with. And that thing came here, like, I think in 2 weeks. So
right.
It's kind of like, what's the reason when you're doing everything on your phone? What does it? I mean, if I'm in Los Angeles, I'm still going to be in an apartment making videos. But there might be a reason, you never know. There might be a reason. And then I would love to. I wouldn't mind doing it because I think it's one of the most amazing countries in the whole world. It's definitely the #1 country I want to see. But I don't know, man, if I get that opportunity, maybe.
Weird question. You're such a lovely dude. What pisses you off?
Gee. I guess I want to say like people who would like hate on people for no reason. But then again, I honestly feel like people do that. I know it sounds corny, but to like feel better about themselves. I think it's an easy way to feel like you're not a loser is by making someone else, attacking someone who's probably doing something. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like when people are breaking each other down. I don't like when people have an attitude of, attacking someone else. I never see a reason in that. And I don't know. I guess there's a ton of stuff that sometimes happen. A lot of political stuff could change me into like a completely different person. But yeah, I guess. Are you
talking about American politics or South African politics or both?
Both, absolutely. Both.
I mean, everyone has a temper on American politics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like, I guess, yeah. I guess that brings it down to the point. Like, I guess the thing that annoys me the most is when people cannot disagree. So,
right.
Like for me, I absolutely love talking to someone who has a completely different opinion than me. In fact, I feel comfortable if someone were willing to say their opinion, right? But I also expect that when I say my opinion, that that is okay, and even
Respected.
though, yes, even if people would disagree, that it would be fine because it's definitely not. I think even in America, like when you look at the liberals and the conservative, you have to understand that both of them want to do something good, right?
Well, this is a recent anomaly that both the two sides cannot talk to each other. That was never like, the world wasn't like this before. But right now, you're on the left or you're on the right. There's no such thing as that defines who you are.
Yes, exactly. I think that's also something that should leave. If someone asks you, you're on the left or the right, we tend to say, right? But it's like,
why can't I have a bit of both?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I agree with some stuff that the one says. I agree with some stuff that the other one says. But it's just like I could have a conversation with someone like I'm having with you now. And then we could have an hour conversation about politics, completely disagree. And then be like, okay, cheers, And like, see you again tomorrow. Come have a braai. And that's the kind of person I am. And I wish the world I'm not saying I wish the world was like me, but I wish the world could have that mindset when it comes to disagreeing. That is probably the thing that I hate the most. And I see it on the news all the time. I see stuff I think is absolutely crazy that I don't agree with. And if you say anything about it, even on my TikTok, I've had hate. I've had people send me messages saying, hey, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? I'm like, listen, I'm not going to get involved, because you're supposed to watch me for a guy doing magic tricks. Do you like my magic or don't you? If you don't follow. If you do, follow. Don't ask me what's my political belief and then decide whether you like me or not, because that's not how that works. So that's what I hate.
You're in the finals of America's Got Talent.
Yes.
What trick do you do?
I don't know. I think you won't believe it, right? Like, so many tricks have already been done. Like, because the guys doing those tricks, those are not their tricks, right? It's even the ones that I sometimes do. It's not, your trick. It's ones that the guys behind the scenes are making. And I feel like people have gone onto, even though there are incredible magic tricks now with a Rubik's Cube, if you go on there and you do them, Simon and everyone's just going to be like, oh, we've seen enough Rubik's Cube magic, right? So I think magic is in a very difficult place now when it comes to America's Got Talent. It's at the best place ever for social media and for TV. But when it comes to America's Got Talent, people have milked those tricks. You can't really, I don't know what to take there. But I do feel like I've got an act to audition with. And I think I'll be able to do something in the final. But if I were to do a trick in the final, I would ask permission from a guy like Justin Plum to use one of his great tricks and just modify it into my way, because, if that opportunity ever came, which I doubt, but I would certainly want to make it, something big. So, yeah.
Surely, and I wasn't planning to ask this, but I'm assuming while we're chatting, you must do lots of interviews, and the person on the other end, you must have some tricks prepared right there just in case that came up, or don't you?
Well, I always got stuff around me, so I've got cards.
I've just turned into a kid right away. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, you got to have tricks, right? You got to have tricks. So I'm always like practicing stuff or trying stuff with my cards. It's always close to me. So yeah, I can definitely show you something.
Okay, I'm going to teach me a trick. Okay, first show me a trick and then teach me a trick, and then I will allow you to continue with your life.
All right, cool. Let me show you a trick.
Yeah.
Then I'll teach you a trick. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So the trick I'm going to show you is with the Rubik's Cube that's mixed, right?
Oh, sorry. We've seen a lot of these on this show.
Let's try this one for you. Let's try this.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So you see it's mixed on all sides, right?
Yes, I do. I see it.
All right, cool. Because here's what we're going to do. I want to make sure you see, right?
I'm watching carefully. I'm watching me. I'm watching carefully.
Cool. So what happens is, I'm going to keep the bag here.
Don't try edit this. I'm watching it.
The cube goes inside the bag, right? Which is my magical, because I don't know how to solve a cube. And then you do this. And now the cube is solved. But hang on, I'll check. Yep, it worked.
Great trick, man. Well done. Okay, bye.
That was the easy part. The hard part is to mix it again.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. But I did.
I was going to say, I think, was that the trick you're teaching me? Because
you can do it already.
Yeah.
No, but I'll reach in and show you, because I'm trying to keep the bag in the screen the whole time. But it is now actually solved.
Right. So now there's another bag in there.
Yeah,
another grip.
There's obviously nothing in the bag.
Okay, so I'm going to ask questions.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to, earlier on you spoke about, so I'm not revealing anything, a self-sorting cube, right? You spoke about it on the show, so I'm not revealing anything. But you also spoke about the fact that those sorts of tricks you're not really into. So I'm going to first guess and say that's not a self-fixing cube. Am I right about that, or is it?
It's not a self-fixing cube. It can be done with any cube, yeah.
So somehow you definitely didn't solve it. You had to have swapped it out somehow with a solved cube. That's my guess there.
So the cool thing is, it's a regular cube, and it's the same cube at the start as it is at the end. There's no added cubes or anything.
So is the cube set up in such a way that you can solve it in like one easy move?
Well, you could actually mix it if you were here.
Oh,
and also, if you remember, it was mixed on all sides. So in order to solve a cube, you first obviously have to solve one, then the other.
Okay, so it's not a solving cube. It's the same cube that you showed me that wasn't solved.
Yes.
And there wasn't any cube swapping.
And also, the self-solving cube I'm talking about, that was an example of like a gimmick, but that one doesn't exist. So a gimmick that would exist would, for instance, be, let's say, a Rubik's Cube that has like a fake side, or that the stickers. Some Rubik's Cubes, you would get like stickers that are orange, blue, whatever. Then you just show this side, and then you just turn it around and it looks solved.
But you showed me at least 3 dimensions on that cube.
Exactly, and you could have inspected it if you were here. But I can show you another trick if you want.
Bollocks! I thought that was an easy one, but now I'm totally perplexed. Okay, great.
So yeah, let me try this for you. I'm gonna just get, let's say a 5 and I think a 9, just 2 cards that are completely different.
I've just decided I'm gonna be now you've got my shackles up. I have to try and solve these now.
So you see the 5 of spades, right?
I see it, yeah. And there's a deck of cards behind them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it in the frame because people otherwise you just think I'm doing something fishy, right? So let me just show you, right? So the idea is to place it right here. Then you take another card from the deck, let's say 9, right? 9 of clubs. Now, you have to remember where the 9 is and where the 5 is, right? So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. Do you think you know where the 5 or the 9 is?
I think, yeah. I think I got it.
Okay, which side do you think it is? Because let me tell you this, no matter which, yeah?
It doesn't matter which way I guess, I'm going to be wrong.
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm pretty sure you're going to be wrong where the 5 is.
Okay, so the 5 should now be in your...
Okay.
The 5 should be in your right hand.
So this one?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's because...
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so now it's in your left hand.
Yeah, so I absolutely love this trick because people, they would keep talking about where the 5 or the 9 is, but when they turn them over, they're both aces.
Okay.
So yeah,
right.
but yeah.
Okay, am I allowed to guess that one?
Go ahead.
So I'm going to guess that when you did... Okay, so if you could start the trick again, that you had another card hidden behind the 5. So when you put the one in your teeth, that was an ace, and then you repeated the same trick the second time. So you were always taking the second, the 9 and the 5 were the second cards down.
So here's the cool thing about magic, right? Is there's some tricks where you never do the same method twice. So even though, absolutely,
only good magicians do that. I do it the same time every time.
Exactly. So I would do something and you'd be like, okay, I think I know, but then the other way would be different.
So then you can show me again and disprove what I've just said.
Exactly. Just in case in the trick, if you're like, show me that card, I can still do it, right? But yeah, so the trick I'll teach for the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this one on Now You See Me, the movie, where you basically...
Right. That's great. I like that trick. I've always tried to do that thing.
I always teach it on my TikTok, but yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have to make a card. I don't have anyone on me. Okay, I've made a card. It's an ace.
There we go. Well, unfortunately, you need 2 cards. So.
Oh shit. Okay, it's 2 cards. Hold on. I'm gonna make a second card, and I'm gonna make this card a 5. Done. Homemade cards by me.
All right, cool. So the secret is you place the one behind the other one.
Yeah.
Right? You just square them up. This trick is called the snap change because you're literally just snapping your fingers. So what you do is you hold onto the corner like this with your middle finger, your pointer finger, and your thumb, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to snap my fingers because when you snap your fingers, your middle finger goes to the back. It's a little hard. Oh, that's close. Those cards are really big, so.
Oh, so that second card is actually, it's not behind the other one. It's just out of my sight down.
Oh, yeah. At the start, it's literally behind the other one.
Yeah.
But when you snap,
Show me. So
it's actually here, yeah.
So how do you get it there?
Well, if you snap your fingers, the middle finger is going to move to the back and pretty much grabs onto this front card and pulls it with it, right? But it's difficult because some people, that was good. Some people do it and then the card just flies away. So you just practice it a little until you know how much, but it's really not that difficult.
Can you do it slowly?
Yeah.
Can you do it slowly? Yeah.
And also the secret is you don't want to go from 3 fingers to 1, right? That looks weird.
Yeah.
You want to just have these 2 on here, right? I think you did that. So basically it's just a snap of the fingers. So then this happens. The middle finger takes it to the back. And it's like,
see that middle finger.
You don't want to show the back, you just want to show this. And of course, if you have a deck close by, you can actually just drop that other card on there. So you do, So.
Oops. That's going to make the trailer.
You got it. Put that in. So yeah, it's literally the snap, right? And then you can, as you click the card, you just drop it. So yeah, but you could just do it like this. You should start this whole thing. You should be there like, I'm here with Wian. Yeah, whatever.
I can do it that way. Look, okay, check it out. Here's my intro. I'm here with Wian. Oh, whatever.
But you got to keep it. Yeah. The thing is, if you're on a camera, you're going to struggle a little bit. But if you're in front of a mirror and you're actually like here, it'll be super easy, right?
Oh, hold on. Where did you click there? Where was your flick there?
The what? Oh, yeah. I just do that. I just do this with the other finger just to make it look magical. Because if you do this, it's weird, right? And also, I think that's a good tip. Like, people shouldn't stand and just do this because you can kind of see the cards going behind. There should be some kind of like bam to it, right? Like take away that slowness of the card. But it's actually super quick. Like, it's too quick.
You could also do this. You could just do that.
Hey, now you're talking. You could also obviously take the card and just shake it and it changes. But
oh man, that kills me. That shit. that kills me. Wian, bro, I'm really honored you came on the show, and great to finally meet you. I've always wanted to chat to you. I know how busy you are because to get a text back from you takes 3 months. But I'm
getting that sorted now, thanks to the manager guy. He's helping out a lot. So.
But I wish you nothing but more success. Let me. I've actually got 2 questions that I have to leave you with, even though I've gone over the time here. The first one is, can you recommend? Like the nature of this podcast is just really it's drinking whiskey and talking shit with people I really like and admire and want to know more about. Can you recommend someone you think I should speak to who has a great story?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can think of a lot. I think Kelly Kicks, who's also on TikTok, right? So she's in Cape Town, and she's starting to do that.
Kicks.
Yeah, Kelly Kicks. So it's KIKX, right? So she's doing incredible things as well. She makes these dance videos, which is more like what TikTok is about, and she's growing incredibly. She recently had a viral video. It's doing incredibly well. Yeah, man, I mean, that's someone that just comes off the top of my head. I think she does incredible things.
They don't have to be celebrities. They just have to have a cool story and doing something interesting.
Okay, well, I mean, Brendan is also someone awesome, right? Brendan Peel, Peel. The guy was on Britain's Got Talent, right? So he worked really hard. I mean, I was lucky with my following and stuff, but he was working like festivals and stuff doing magic, and he got seen that way by Britain's Got Talent, which is incredible. I think that's an amazing story. There's a little girl called Isabella Messens, right? She's 13, and I saw her on TikTok, and we had her on the TV show and everything, and you will not believe that the girl is 13, right? Because her videos are incredible. In fact, she got 1 million followers like this year. Wow. which is more than most of the big TikTokers in South Africa, right? And she's 13.
Wow.
And
What do you
it's
think
just
her favorite whiskey is?
yeah, good point. Good point. But hey, I assume this podcast will go on for another 5 years. So
That's true. It is. It is planning to.
yeah.
Finally, what you have done is unprecedented. You have your career is so interesting to me. What are you trying to achieve still? I mean, surely there's something beyond just getting another 12 million TikTokers, or maybe there isn't. I don't know. Followers.
um, well, I think I'm in the thing I want to be. So I think it's just not as big as I would want it, or it is. I mean, I'm really grateful for how big it is. But I mean,
How do you get bigger?
well, I got to keep posting, right? I got to keep posting. I got to keep making videos. I got to go to different places. I got to get new people involved in the videos. From here on, because if you have a massive following, you can obviously like monetize that. I know there are guys who don't even have 1 million followers and they're already monetizing. They're making hoodies and stuff. I kind of feel like I want to push it a little more and get like a huge number behind me. I want to see if I can. Not saying I will, but I want to try my best to be like a massive TikToker, right? To get into those 20 million and just get that following. It would be amazing if my life could, because I'm really grateful for the way it's gone now. If I could keep it the same, I would die a happy person, right? But I think what would be awesome, because there's these guys on TikTok, the Cheeky Boyos, who are in the US. They have 7 million followers. They've already made videos with Jason Derulo, with Charlie D'Amelio, with Gary Vee, with Logan Paul, with all these guys. And I'm thinking, wow, they can do that with 7 million followers, right? I have 12. And I'm like, maybe if I was in the US, and I mean, there's this guy, Taylor Holder. He's like a massive TikToker, one of the biggest ones. And he reached out to me. He's like, bro, we should collab one day. And I'm like, wow, So I guess if my life can kind of go in that direction, I would be super happy. Like if people went on my Facebook, and it's like my friends, right? And they go on my Facebook and they're like, oh my goodness, here's Wian with Jason Derulo, right? And like, here's Wian on the Ellen Show. I always wanted to be on the Ellen Show as well. I know it's a little far-fetched thing, but that'll be an incredible dream. Yeah.
Nasty C was just on Ellen DeGeneres. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, he was on Ellen DeGeneres. So Africa is hot over there. You're next, I'm sure of it.
Well, when we had that call, I was already like, wow, So you never know, but I mean, it would be awesome because I just want that. There's always going to be things that you want, so I always say like I'm happy with where I am, but I wouldn't mind pushing further and getting some Americans and stuff involved.
It's not my place, but I'm just going to give you an idea. If I were you, your TikTok following is so big, and you're mentioning other big TikTokers. But there must be A-list celebrities that you really admire who do not have the TikTok following that you have, that you could reach out to and collaborate with great legitimacy. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's something I've thought about a lot and something I think about a lot. I mean, celebrities like, well, there's a guy who was on this, Nickelodeon has this show called Henry Danger, right? And there's a guy on there, he's the toddler. And everybody here, well, the kids would know him, right? Because it's a very popular show. And I mean, the guy wants to collab with me. He wants to do a magic trick where he's in half of the screen, I'm in the other half. And I'm like, that's amazing, right? So I'm going to try to push for things like that. But also, again, if I had, the reason, like, when I look at Justin Plum's like life and his career, even doing collabs and stuff, I don't think it changes your life completely. But it's something that's just something to look back at and think, wow, I did that. So for me, that would be being on the Ellen Show or being on America's Got Talent. I'm not sure about that one, but still, it would be amazing. And, meeting Penn and Teller. And also, like, if I could show, like, actual celebrities tricks, which, like, Justin Plum has done. Like, he went to the WWE and he showed some wrestlers tricks. And he showed like Fifth Harmony, he showed them tricks. If I could have people like at that level see me do the magic trick to them, I mean, that's stuff that I aim at, I think it'll be cool. Like in terms of TikTok and stuff, I'm happy with where I am. I'm just going to keep growing it. I'm already doing what I think I want to do. I'm just going to keep growing it. But that's the type of stuff I haven't done yet that I wish I could do. So, yeah.
Well, I reckon you can, and I know you will.
Thanks, John. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Dude, thank you so much for your time, bro. And I demand a swipe up on your Instagram account, or at least something with this interview. I want to feel what it feels like to get I mean, geez, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for being on the show.
Hopefully I'll get a bunch of followers from you as well, because I'm sure this thing's going to blow up in it.
Did you say that you were getting interested in podcasting, or was it just YouTubing you wanted to do?
Well, I think I haven't done nearly enough to get into the podcasting, if that makes sense. Like, I think right now I need to get my Facebook videos up, I need to get my YouTube videos up, and then once I am hopefully like, okay, I'm all right on YouTube, I'm all right on everything, I would like to do that. I mean, I do like sitting and talking to people, so
cool.
But I'm guessing there's more to it, of course, but
it's a bit hard to do magic. Okay, you see this card? All right, check this Rubik's Cube. Now it's solved. It doesn't really, as an audio medium, it's a weird one.
Exactly, but that's the thing. Like, you're obviously like super good at it, but with like a guy like me, I have to first build that audience, right? People who would be willing to go listen to me for an hour or 2 hours. So, and talking, you know, my opinion and stuff with other people. And I would also do that when I would say I'm at the position where I'm like, okay, this is the farthest I have wanted to go in my career. Because that's when I see these YouTubers do it, right? Like Logan Paul and everyone. They only start the podcasts when they've done everything they wanted to do. Because I feel like then you can talk about everything and can't get cancelled.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right, buddy.
Cool.
Lots of big thumbs up to you, my man, and have yourself a great evening. Thanks for being on What's Your Poison, dude.
Thanks, you too, John. Hope to meet you someday in person as well, though.
Too, and if you need any camera tricks or sound advice, you got my number.
Thanks, I appreciate that. All your advice always helps, man. It's changed everything I do as well. So yeah.
Cool, man.